Hi, I'm Laura Francis, and in today's post I want to talk with you about why ditching difficult clients is actually good for business. About 4 years ago, I was working with a new client developing a website. Not only did he break me down and negotiate a bargain price for his cheap-ass web design, but he absorbed all of my time, clogging up my phone line day and night, drained me emotionally and financially for 3 months. It was fucking crippling. Firing him would have been the best thing to do, but instead I persevered as I really thought that I needed the money at the time. In hindsight, I should have just told him to fuck off and that I wasn't for sale. But I was desperate and he fed off my desperation. If this story sounds familiar, that's because as a small business owner, you've probably run into at least one client that has had you pulling your hair out in clumps. And like most start-up entrepreneurs, you have this massive fear that you won't be able to survive without the income from this client. But before you rip out one more single strand of hair, or before you start shopping for a wig, you need to stop and look at the big picture. What are you gaining from this challenging client? You might think that the work you've been getting from this guy is the only thing between you and the poorhouse. Sure, he pays his bill and even manages to pay it on time most months, but there is far more to an acceptable client for your business than getting paid on time. You are, of course, getting experience in your gig, but at the same time you're getting a hard lesson in patience and anger management. All you need to do is take a look at what this dirtbag is putting you through and what little you're getting out of the relationship. What are you losing? First and foremost, for as long as you continue to work with this shit client, you're losing your sanity. With every change you make to his cheap-ass web design, it means hours on the phone, dozens of emails and tweaks beyond reason. Your blood pressure spikes a bit higher and your sanity slips a bit more. But more importantly, when you look at how much time you're spending with this oxygen thief, how much could you be spending with your more valuable clients? And how much money are you really losing? What will you gain or lose if you fire this client? Now for the big question, and one that you need to give serious thought to. You've been hanging on to this client thinking that you can't live without the money he pays. If you kick him to the curb, you'll lose the income, but in return you'll get your sanity back as the phone stops ringing off the hook, and more importantly, you get back all your time. Time that you can be using to develop new relationships with new customers. Imagine how much more money you could be bringing in if you replace this one very difficult client with 2 or 3 new clients who actually like the work that you do and trust you to do a good job without micromanaging you every step of the way. Now you can see there comes a time when you have no choice but to tell your challenging client that it's time for them to hit the road. But how do you fire them? If you've never had to fire anyone, let alone a client, you might be surprised that it's actually not as hard as it seems. I find the best approach is to send the client a professional and non-emotional email explaining why you feel that they might be happier seeking the services of another provider. Tell them that despite your best efforts, the two of you don't seem to be able to work well together and that you simply don't feel as though you are the right company to meet their expectations. Your best bet is to help them realise that you are no more to blame for this situation than they are. It's nothing more than a complete mismatch. You're not a good fit, and that they may be better off finding someone else that can meet their expectations. When you manage the situation without flying off the handle, both you and your client can feel good about moving on, and you can soon replace them with new clients that want the services you have to offer. Have you ever had to fire a client? How did you go about it? And did things end amicably? This is just one of the areas that I work on with my clients, along with identifying your target client, developing kick-ass offers, setting your prices and selling your offer online using online marketing and a shit-hot sales funnel. I can help you step by step through the entire process, and you'll get to hang out with me one-on-one and kick some real goals online. So if you're interested in getting up close and personal with me in a small and elite group, then head on over and apply for your free strategy session at www.laurafrancis.com.au/strategy-session.